What is the salary for software engineers in Japan? I show a job posting in here for a senior developer, like 5 years of experience, and it's like 9 to 11 million Japanese yen. And so many people complain about that salary being too low. Bruh. I interviewed this senior software engineer at the company I work for and asked him some questions. I'm going to show some clips from that video, some data from websites, and just explain the whole thing about the salary, the cost of living, comparing it to US salaries, all that kind of stuff. So let's get into it. Many software engineers in the USA are making over $100,000 a year. At the current exchange rate, that's 15 million Japanese yen. So when they see job postings for senior developers in Japan going around, 9 million or 10 million yen a year, they think that's really low because at the current exchange rate, that's only $63,000 a year, which is basically an entry-level salary in the USA. That kind of scares them away. What do you think is the minimum salary to live a good life in Japan?
もうアメリカの給料が高いのがびっくりだな。羨ましい。
でも家賃とか
そうか、物価が高いので、そういう意味では日本で暮らしてアニメ見てゲームしてずっとパソコンの前にいるみたいなね。それだと300万ぐらいでいけるんじゃないかな。でも東京だと厳しいかもしれないですけど、でも理想はやっぱり500万円ぐらいからじゃないですかね。
We're talking about that magic number, that $100,000 a year salary in the USA. I think that's what everyone wants. People who are getting FANG jobs right out of college, of course, they're looking at much higher. They're thinking about 200K, 300K a year total comp. But for most of us normal people, we're thinking that $100,000 a year is probably the ideal salary to have, depending on where you live. I mean, at least for me, coming from Houston, Texas, that sounds pretty amazing. The $100,000 a year salary in the USA that so many people are striving for, the equivalent of that is that's the 10 million yen salary. The historical average is really around 100 Japanese yen. We're just in a really strange time right now where either the US dollar is strong or the yen is weak, whichever. But you have to take into account the purchasing power, the local purchasing power. Okay, when you do this 10 million Japanese yen, that looks low, but two years ago, this would have been $100,000. And the truth is, the purchasing power in the local economy is still there. It's not like this is actually $63,000. If you're staying inside Japan and you have 10 million yen a year, you are in the upper class of people. Nobody is getting this. Your average office workers, even most software engineers, like Japanese software engineers who have the mentality of staying in the company for their whole career and not changing companies to get those salary increases, they will never see this. Some of them may never see even half of this. So you have to understand, I'm going to show you why, but you have to understand that this is an amazing salary in Japan. It's so much money. And to put it into perspective, let's think about housing. I'm about an hour and 20-minute drive from downtown Osaka, the second largest city in Japan, I think. And the monthly rent for my house. Okay, if you want to play the game, let's play the game of exchange rates, because now I'm going to be the winner. My monthly rent is 42,000 Japanese yen for a 2-story house, kind of small 2-story house, but we're living here, family of 4 in this house. That's 267 US dollars a month. So if you want to play that game, we can look at it like that, and also take into consideration that there's essentially zero crime here. You don't have to worry about things getting stolen, your house getting broken into. You don't have to worry about getting robbed at night while walking from your car to your front door. You don't have to worry about any of that. $267 a month for rent. It's insane. For me to go back to my hometown in the suburbs of Houston, I would probably have to pay 4 times. The cost of living is going to be at least 4 times what I'm paying here in Japan to live in a safe area, maybe even more. I mean, I don't know. I've seen people in luxury apartments in Houston paying $2,000 a month, and still they have to worry about people getting shot and killed in the parking garage where they live. You know, there's none of that over here, and I'm paying $200 a month for my rent. And if you're talking about getting a house over here, I've got this thing pulled up. Cheap houses in Japan. Look at these prices. Yeah, these aren't in the city, but it's just like, if you can do remote work, or you're starting your own company or agency or something, and you want to stay in Japan long term, look at these prices. I mean, okay, something this low for $13,000, yeah, it's probably going to need some renovations. Yeah, but it's not that bad. You can get houses. I mean, they're practically giving away these houses. Like, if you buy a house like this for $13,000, a lot of these areas have some kind of incentives. Like, if you move from the city and buy the house there, they'll give you all these tax cuts. If you start a business in there, like, you could start a remote web development agency out of one of these houses. And if you stay there for at least like 5 years or longer, I don't know what the details are, it varies by the location, then they'll give you like the equivalent of $10,000 back. So essentially they're giving you this house for free if you move here and start a business. This is like a dream. You can't have this in the USA, but even some of these are, yeah, look, Tokyo, okay, 116,000 in Tokyo. Look at this, $36,000. You can have a samurai house for $36,000. And look, what is it in Japanese yen? It's 500. What is it? That's because of that. This symbol here means 10,000. So this is 5.5 million. That is a junior software engineer salary in Japan. These aren't even the top jobs. These are just basic jobs, because yeah, this is a 10,000. So this is 4.5 million, 4 million, 6 million. These are the bottom range for all of these. These are very low level jobs, most of them. If you have 2 or 3 years of experience as a software engineer, you can get a house for less than your yearly salary. And that's an average person. These aren't FANG people I'm talking about. These are average people, like probably you and definitely me. Can you say the same thing in your own country, wherever you are? If it's the USA, the UK, Australia, whatever. And then even for the people who are like at the FANG companies making, you know, $300,000 a year, I don't think they can get a house even for their yearly salary. And I've got a few websites pulled up here. This is BizReach. It's mostly for Japanese people, but if your Japanese skills, language skills are good, you can use it. I've used it. For developers, there's over 2,000 jobs available that are in that range. You can see these ranges. These are really good salaries for being in Japan. And if we look at Japan Dev, we're looking at salaries over that 10 million yen. There are a lot of them. There are 97 jobs available that are looking for foreigners, and sometimes don't even require Japanese skills. Of course, you need good tech skills and a lot of experience. A lot of these are more senior level positions, but fully remote, you can apply from abroad. 17 million, there you go. 15 million, you know, they are here. 14 million. Okay, 20 million for an iOS developer. Man, you get this, you are big time in Japan. Like, you're gonna have a nice life. I don't care who you are. Okay, we're gonna show this clip from Tyrone on the Dev Ippo channel. He interviewed a tech recruiter in Japan working specifically with foreigners who has like 20 years of experience. Let's watch that clip real quick.
What are some of the highest paid, like, engineering jobs you've seen, or some American company, venture company, or FANG?
So if you're sort of, for non-manager, so sort of senior individual contributor, then sort of 20 million yen plus, 20 to 25, 20 to 30. Yeah. Again, it's typically sort of big tech or the companies that are competing for the people that Amazon and Google and those are hiring.
So he says it there. You can get 20, 30 million Japanese yen if you're the type of person who can get into a FANG company. The FANG companies are here. Some Japanese companies are trying to compete to get talent. 30 million Japanese yen. The exchange rate, it's getting close to 200,000 US dollars. But, oh man, if you have 30 million Japanese yen, think of the houses you can buy. Like, if you're going to be in Japan long term, you just buy a new house every year. Like, look at this. Just buy a new samurai house every year, basically. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. You can join my Discord if you want to get in contact. I do Zoom calls if you want to do a 45-minute consultation to figure out your study plan or your approach to job hunting, check your resume, portfolio, whatever. I do those for $2 right now. I was doing it for free, but I did over 50 of them and got kind of burned out. My schedule was totally full. So if you're interested in any of that, the links are going to be in the description of this video and probably in the comment. I hope this cleared up everything with the salaries. Let's get that 10 million Japanese yen and let's go hard in the code. All right, you guys, I will see you next time.